The silent defense. Commander Rhianna Shaw stood at the observation deck of Luna Base Alpha, her dark eyes fixed on the distant stars. The holographic display before her showed what the public couldn't see: thousands of alien warships approaching Earth's solar system. The Nexari Empire, a civilization that had conquered half the galaxy, had finally set their sights on humanity's home. "Status report," she commanded, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. The command center hummed with quiet efficiency as officers monitored Earth's hidden defense grid. Lieutenant Thomas Reed, her tactical officer, spoke without looking up from his console. "The Nexari fleet will reach Jupiter's orbit in 6 hours. Their communication channels are active, they're broadcasting the usual demands for surrender." Rhianna allowed herself a small smile. For decades, humanity had maintained a careful facade of technological inadequacy. Their satellites appeared primitive, their space stations looked vulnerable, and their military capabilities seemed limited to basic orbital defense. It was all an elaborate deception. "Send word to Director Cole," she ordered. "Tell him to begin Phase 1 of the Artemis Protocol." The message would reach Earth's underground command center, where the true extent of human military power lay hidden from prying eyes. The Nexari fleet was impressive. Their ships were massive constructs of dark metal and energy weapons, each one capable of reducing a city to ash. Their leader, Admiral Xenavos, had a reputation for swift and merciless conquest. But humanity had been preparing for this moment for generations. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a facility unknown to the invaders, Marcus Cole received Rhianna's message. The strategic AI director stood before a wall of quantum computers, each one connected to a network of defensive systems that spanned the solar system. With a series of commands, he began activating humanity's hidden guardians. Microscopic nanites, seeded throughout the asteroid belt years ago, came to life. Cloaked satellites, their technology far beyond anything the Nexari could detect, powered up their systems. And in hidden shipyards across Earth's oceans, vessels of war stirred from their slumber. "They think we're defenseless," Rhianna murmured, watching the Nexari fleets approach. "Let them keep thinking that." Her hand brushed against the neural interface at the base of her skull, a piece of technology that would have shocked the invaders with its sophistication. The first wave of Nexari scouts entered the inner solar system. Their scans showed exactly what humanity wanted them to see: a vulnerable planet protected by outdated technology. Admiral Voss's voice boomed across all frequencies, demanding Earth's immediate surrender. Earth remained silent. The silence unnerved the Nexari commanders. They were used to panic, to desperate pleas for mercy, to hasty attempts at resistance. But Earth's defenders simply watched and waited, their true strength hidden beneath layers of deception. As the invasion fleet approached Mars, humanity's trap began to close. Quantum-entangled sensors tracked every Nexari ship, mapping their weaknesses, analyzing their patterns. The data flowed to Earth's defense network, where artificial intelligences far more advanced than the invaders could imagine prepared countermeasures. "They're launching their first strike force," Thomas reported. 30 capital ships, heading for our orbital defense stations." Rhianna nodded. "Let them come. Activate the Ghost Protocol." Across Earth's orbit, seemingly primitive defense platforms suddenly shimmered and vanished, replaced by advanced holographic decoys. The real platforms, invisible, untouchable, and armed with weapons that defied conventional physics, moved into position. The trap was set. Humanity's long deception was about to end, and the Nexari Empire was about to learn why Earth had never been conquered. As Commander Shaw watched the enemy fleet approach, she knew that history was about to change. The silent defenders of Earth were ready, and the price for underestimating humanity would be severe. Beneath the surface. In the depths of the Pacific Ocean, Strategic AI Director Marcus Cole moved through the crystalline corridors of the Atlantis complex. Holographic displays lined the walls, showing real-time data from Earth's hidden defense network. The complex itself was a marvel of engineering, built within a quantum bubble that kept it invisible to even the most advanced scanning technology. Artemis Protocol Phase 1 is active, announced Dr. Samira Patel, his chief quantum systems engineer. Her fingers danced across floating holographic controls as she monitored the awakening defense grid. The nanite swarms are responding at optimal levels. Marcus watched as billions of microscopic machines, seeded throughout the solar system over decades, came to life. These weren't simple robots, they were quantum-enabled artificial organisms, capable of manipulating matter at the subatomic level. The Nexari Empire had no idea they were flying through clouds of humanity's most sophisticated weapons. "Begin infiltration sequence," Marcus commanded. The AI cores around him hummed with increased activity. Each one housed consciousness far beyond anything the Nexari had achieved, yet purposefully designed to remain undetectable. "Let's show them why Earth's digital space is our domain." The first wave of Nexari ships entered the kill zone, the area where Earth's true defenses could reach them. Their sensors continued to show only what humanity wanted them to see: outdated satellites, primitive defense platforms, and seemingly vulnerable cities below. "Sir," called out Lieutenant Nina Rodriguez from her monitoring station, "the nanites have achieved full integration with the enemy fleet's outer hull. System infiltration is beginning." Marcus allowed himself a grim smile. The Nexari prided themselves on their cybersecurity, but they had never faced anything like Earth's quantum AIs. Their digital defenses were being dismantled at the atomic level, their command systems quietly subverted, all while their sensors showed nothing amiss. Deep beneath the Atlantic Ocean, another secret facility activated. The Poseidon Array, Earth's primary gravity manipulation system, powered up its cores. The technology could bend space itself, but to the approaching Nexari fleet, it appeared as nothing more than normal planetary magnetic field fluctuations. "Director," Samira called out, her voice tense with excitement, "the enemy flagship is attempting to deploy their first wave of ground forces. Should we reveal ourselves?" Marcus moved to the central command sphere, a room within a room that gave him direct neural interface with Earth's entire defense network. "Not yet. Let them commit their forces. Commander Shaw's team will handle the initial contact. We need them to believe they still have the advantage." The Nexari invasion force began their descent toward Earth's major cities. Their ships, massive and imposing, cast shadows over the seemingly defenseless population centers. But those shadows passed over empty streets. Earth citizens had been quietly evacuated days ago, moved to underground arcologies that the Nexari scans couldn't detect. "Sir," Nina reported, "we're detecting quantum communications from the enemy flagship. Admiral Voss is ordering all ships to begin full military deployment. They're suspicious of the lack of resistance." Marcus connected directly to the defense network through his neural interface. The sensation of merging with humanity's vast digital infrastructure never ceased to amaze him. Through the network, he could feel every nanite, every hidden satellite, every cloaked warship waiting in the darkness of space. "They should be suspicious," he said, his voice calm. "Initiate Phase 2 of the Artemis Protocol. Let's give them their first glimpse of what they're really facing." Across the solar system, humanity's hidden technology began to stir. Quantum fields shifted, gravity wells appeared and disappeared, and space itself seemed to ripple with untold energy. The Nexari Empire was about to learn that their understanding of physics, of technology, of warfare itself, was painfully incomplete. In the Atlantis Complex's central command, Marcus watched as the pieces fell into place. The trap wasn't just closing, it was about to snap shut with devastating force. Humanity had spent generations preparing for this moment, and he would ensure that the price for threatening Earth would be one the Nexari Empire would never forget. Through his neural link, he sent a message to Commander Shaw on Luna Base Alpha: "The stage is set. Show them what humanity can really do." The time for hiding was over. Earth's silent defenders were about to become its roaring guardians, and the Nexari Empire was about to learn why no invasion force had ever succeeded in conquering humanity's homeworld. The turning point. Captain Diana Reeves stood on the bridge of the Eclipse, Earth's most advanced warship, hidden within a fold of quantum-manipulated space. Her vessel, along with the rest of humanity's secret fleet, had remained invisible to the universe for decades. The Eclipse wasn't just a ship, it was a testament to human ingenuity, a warship that could bend reality itself. All stealth systems nominal, reported her tactical officer, Lieutenant Wei Zhang. The Nexari still haven't detected us. Their fleet is completely committed to the invasion pattern. Diana watched through advanced holographic displays as the enemy ships positioned themselves for what they thought would be a simple conquest. The Nexari vessels were impressive by conventional standards, massive dreadnoughts bristling with plasma weapons and energy shields. But they were fighting yesterday's war. Status of the quantum web, she asked, her fingers brushing against the neural interface that connected her directly to the Eclipse's AI core. Her science officer, Dr. Rachel Solomon, answered from her station. The web is fully formed. Every Nexari ship is now surrounded by our quantum field matrix. They literally can't see what's about to hit them. Through her neural link, Diana could feel the power thrumming through her ship. The Eclipse and its sister ships weren't built with traditional engines or weapons. They manipulated the fundamental forces of reality, gravity, space, time, and quantum probability itself. Each vessel was a mobile singularity, capable of rewriting the laws of physics in its immediate vicinity. Message from Director Cole, Wei announced. Phase 2 is commencing. We have authorization to reveal our presence. Diana straightened in her command chair. This was the moment they had trained for, the culmination of generations of preparation. Signal the fleet. Begin emergent sequence. Across the solar system, humanity's true warships phased into normal space. They appeared like ghosts, their black hulls seeming to absorb light itself. The Nexari sensors suddenly exploded with alerts as hundreds of vessels materialized around their invasion fleet. Enemy flagship is powering weapons, Wei reported calmly. They're attempting to raise their shields. Diana allowed herself a small smile. Too late. Execute Protocol Omega. The quantum web activated. Invisible fields of manipulated spacetime enveloped the Nexari vessels. Their shields flickered and died as fundamental forces turned against them. Their weapons powered up but found their energy dispersed through quantum tunnels. Their mighty engines pushed against space that no longer behaved as it should. Multiple Nexari ships attempting emergency jumps, Rachel called out. Their FTL drives are activating. Let them try, Diana responded. The Nexari were about to learn another harsh lesson about humanity's technological superiority. The first enemy ship attempted to jump to faster-than-light speed. Instead of escaping, it found itself trapped in a localized time dilation field. From the Nexari perspective, everything outside their ships began moving at impossible speeds. The trap wasn't just physical, it was temporal. Admiral Voss is broadcasting, Wei announced. They're demanding to know what we are. Diana stood, her presence commanding even as chaos erupted around her fleet. Show them. Deactivate the quantum camouflage on all ships. Let them see what they're really facing. The Eclipse and its sister ships shimmered as their true forms became visible. They weren't the crude warships the Nexari had expected. Each vessel was a masterpiece of post-quantum engineering, their hulls lined with crystalline structures that defied conventional physics. They weren't just warships, they were mobile reality manipulation platforms. Enemy fleet is attempting to regroup, Wei reported. They're trying to form a defensive sphere. Not today, Diana commanded. Execute attack pattern Theta. Show them why Earth remained unconquered. The human fleet moved with impossible grace, their quantum drives allowing them to ignore traditional laws of momentum and inertia. Space itself seemed to bend around them as they engaged the Nexari ships. Traditional energy weapons splashed harmlessly against quantum shields while humanity's exotic weapons bypassed enemy defenses completely. Through her neural link, Diana coordinated with the other ship captains, their vessels moving in perfect synchronization. The Nexari fleet, once so proud and mighty, found themselves fighting an enemy that seemed to break every rule of warfare they knew. "Multiple enemy ships are going dark," Rachel reported. "The nanite infiltration is complete. Their systems are completely compromised." Diana watched as the mighty Nexari invasion force began to crumble. Their ships, designed to fight conventional battles, were helpless against weapons that attacked through quantum space. Their commanders, trained in traditional warfare, had no defense against an enemy that could manipulate reality itself. "Message from Commander Shaw," Wei announced. "Ground forces are ready to engage any ships that make it through our net." But Diana knew there wouldn't be many. The Nexari Empire had made a fatal mistake. They had judged Earth by its appearance, never suspecting that humanity's apparent technological backwardness was the greatest deception in galactic history. Breaking the crown. Colonel James Harrison moved silently through the streets of New York, leading a team of quantum-enhanced soldiers. The city appeared deserted, a carefully crafted illusion that had drawn in the desperate remains of the Nexari invasion force. The alien soldiers who had managed to land thought they were occupying an abandoned metropolis. They couldn't have been more wrong. "Movement ahead," whispered Sergeant Olivia Drake, her quantum sight allowing her to see through walls and detect energy signatures. 3 Nexari combat squads, moving in formation. "They're searching the buildings." James touched the neural interface at his temple, connecting to the city's defense grid. New York wasn't just a city anymore, it was a weapon. Every building, every street, every particle of air was infused with programmable nanites. The entire urban landscape was waiting for his command. "All teams in position," reported Lieutenant Ravi Kumar through the quantum comm, ready to spring the trap. The Nexari troops moved cautiously through the streets, their advanced armor gleaming in the morning sun. They carried weapons that could reduce buildings to ash, yet they seemed nervous. Something about the empty city unsettled them. "Now," James commanded softly. The trap was sprung with devastating elegance. The very air around the Nexari soldiers solidified as nanites reformed into crystalline barriers. The ground beneath their feet became fluid, then solid again, trapping them in place. Their weapons, infiltrated by microscopic machines hours ago, went dead in their hands. "Team 2, engage," James ordered. His soldiers emerged from quantum shadows, their combat suits making them nearly invisible to normal sight. These weren't traditional military uniforms, they were symbiotic systems that merged with their wearers, enhancing human capabilities beyond anything the Nexari had encountered. The alien soldiers tried to fight back, but they were hopelessly outmatched. Their armor, designed to stop energy weapons and projectiles, offered no protection against quantum phase attacks. Their combat training, focused on conventional warfare, gave them no advantage against soldiers who could step through walls and manipulate gravity. "Colonel," Olivia called out, "we've got a larger force approaching from the east. Looks like they're deploying heavy armor." James smiled grimly. "Perfect. Execute Protocol Chimera." The streets of New York began to change. Buildings shifted position, alleyways rearranged themselves, and the very layout of the city transformed. The nanite-infused infrastructure responded to James's commands, turning the urban environment into a fluid battlefield that obeyed human will. Nexari tanks and combat vehicles found themselves suddenly trapped in dead ends that hadn't existed moments before. Their sensors, already confused by quantum interference, became completely unreliable as the city itself fought against them. "They're trying to call for orbital support," Ravi reported. "But there's nothing up there to help them anymore." James knew he was right. The space battle had been decisive, Captain Reeves and her fleet had made sure of that. Now it was time to show the Nexari that humanity's ground forces were equally formidable. "Deploy the Phantoms," he ordered. From hidden bunkers throughout the city, special combat units emerged. These soldiers had undergone extensive quantum enhancement, their bodies and minds merged with advanced technology that the Nexari couldn't even comprehend. They moved like ghosts, passing through solid matter, manipulating local gravity, bending light around themselves. The remaining Nexari forces found themselves fighting an enemy they couldn't see, couldn't hit, and couldn't escape. Their commanders tried to coordinate a defense, but their communications were intercepted and disrupted by the city's quantum network. "Sir," Olivia reported, "we're detecting a signal from their command center. They're trying to activate some kind of doomsday weapon." James had expected this. The Nexari were notorious for their scorched earth tactics when defeated. Initiate final containment. Full-spectrum quantum lockdown. The air itself seemed to crystallize as layers of quantum fields descended over the city. The Nexari found their remaining weapons and technology completely neutralized, trapped within pockets of altered space where physical laws could be selectively enforced or suspended. "Enemy forces are surrendering," Ravi announced. "They're laying down their weapons." James watched through his enhanced vision as the mighty Nexari ground force, which had conquered countless worlds, finally accepted defeat. They had come expecting to find a primitive civilization, easy to overwhelm with their advanced technology. Instead, they had found themselves hopelessly outmatched by an enemy that had transcended traditional warfare entirely. "Secure the prisoners," he ordered. "And prepare for Phase 5. It's time to show the Nexari Empire why Earth was never truly their prey, we were always the predator." Dawn of a new era. Admiral Zena Voss stood in chains before the Earth Defense Council, her once pristine uniform now bearing the marks of defeat. The chamber was vast, its walls lined with shifting quantum displays showing real-time data from across the galaxy. This wasn't the primitive governing body she had expected to find, it was the command center of a civilization far more advanced than her empire had ever imagined. "You never asked yourselves why Earth remained isolated," Commander Shaw said, stepping forward. "Why a habitable world with intelligent life showed no signs of expansion, no colonies, no fleet. Your empire saw what it wanted to see, weakness, isolation, prey." Voss felt a chill as she watched the holographic displays showing the true extent of Earth's power. Hidden bases throughout the solar system, quantum technology that made her empire's greatest achievements look primitive, and a defense network that spanned not just space but reality itself. "Your invasion fleet has been completely neutralized," Director Cole announced, his neural interface glowing softly. "But that's not why you're here. You're here to understand what happens next." The display shifted, showing the current state of the Nexari Empire. Their mighty fleets, their countless conquered worlds, their seemingly unassailable dominion over the stars, all of it now vulnerable to a power they hadn't known existed. "We could have stopped you years ago," Captain Reeves said, her quantum-enhanced uniform shimming slightly in the chamber's light. "We watched your empire expand, watched you conquer and subjugate. We could have intervened, but we needed to understand." "Understand what?" Voss finally spoke, her voice hoarse. "If your empire could learn," Colonel Harrison answered, stepping out of a quantum shadow. "If you could recognize when you'd encountered something beyond your comprehension. You failed that test." The displays changed again, showing Earth's hidden fleet now moving through Nexari space. Not to conquer, not to destroy, but to liberate. World after world, system after system, the carefully maintained grip of the Nexari Empire was being broken by forces they couldn't fight. "Your empire ends today," Shaw declared, "but your people don't have to. This is humanity's offer: surrender, reform, and join a new era of galactic civilization. Or resist, and learn why Earth's isolation was never about weakness." Voss watched as more displays activated, showing technologies that defied her understanding. Quantum manipulation on a scale that made faster-than-light travel look primitive. Energy control that could reshape stars. Computational systems that could think in dimensions her species hadn't even discovered. "How?" she whispered. "How did you hide all of this?" Dr. Solomon stepped forward, her research team's quantum interfaces casting soft light around her. "Because we understood something your empire forgot. True power isn't about what you show, it's about what you keep hidden until the right moment." The council chamber shifted, its quantum architecture rearranging to display a map of the known galaxy. Nexari territory was highlighted, but now Voss could see what her empire had missed: subtle quantum signatures, hidden installations, and cloaked observation posts. Earth hadn't been isolated, they had been everywhere, watching, waiting. "Your choice, Admiral," Commander Shaw said. "Will the Nexari Empire end in fire, or will it transform? Will your people learn to build rather than conquer? To grow rather than destroy?" Voss looked around the chamber, at the faces of the humans who had shattered her empire's might in mere days. She saw no hatred in their eyes, no desire for vengeance. Instead, she saw something far more terrifying: purpose. "The galaxy is changing," Director Cole stated. "The age of empire is over. Humanity kept itself hidden not out of fear, but because we were preparing for this moment, the moment when the stars themselves would need guardians, not conquerors." As if to emphasize his words, new alerts appeared on the quantum displays. Other empires, other conquering forces across the galaxy, were about to learn the same lesson the Nexari had. Earth's hidden fleets were moving, its quantum technology was awakening, and its true purpose was finally being revealed. "Your answer, Admiral?" Shaw prompted. Voss straightened, her chains feeling heavier than ever. She had come to Earth expecting to find another primitive world to add to her empire's collection. Instead, she had found the architects of a new galactic order, and now she had to choose: would the Nexari people be part of what came next, or would they be remembered as another empire that fell when they dared to threaten Earth? The dawn of a new era had arrived, and humanity, after centuries of preparation, was finally ready to take its place as the guardian of a galaxy that desperately needed change. The question was no longer whether Earth would prevail; that had been decided the moment the Nexari fleet entered the solar system. The question now was how many other empires would learn the same costly lesson before they understood: humanity's isolation had never been about weakness. It had been about preparation.